Warning. The content in this podcast contains some explicit language which may be offensive to some listeners and may be inappropriate for children. Therefore, the content in this podcast is intended for a mature audience only.
So, when'd you fall in love with hip-hop?
Right here, what we're gonna do is go back.
We're recording now.
Hey.
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 It's MochaTea. This is Capri.
This is Dante.
And I'm Mica.
And we are enjoying, or I am enjoying, another cookie. I feel like a fatty today. Just two.
Oh, okay.
I think
So you figure.
Thinking you'll get another one?
Yeah. What's this, peanut butter?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You want one? On point.
I'm good. Girl, we didn't drink because it was
Easter
Easter
Sunday?
Sunday.
No, I just didn't have any liquor.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't go get none. I thought about it.
Yeah, I thought about getting
I did
some
see
wine.
them little bottles of
The Stella
Stella
Black.
Black.
They got the big bottles in the store too, like the 7-Eleven and stuff.
I said,
But I was
we
gonna
need to
buy
get
us
some more of
one.
that.
Is that what we
It's
had
all
last
in-
time?
That one that we thought was real good?
That was
Yeah.
real good. They got it at Walgreens for like
Really?
$13.
I seen the Walgreens. I was like, ooh, I could get us some personal bottles. We still haven't like celebrated our like 6 month
Well, yeah, we have
mark.
We are
When
next
do that?
week.
this week.
We are this week on Thursday.
And we got to trap karaoke.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then we got to go to a place called Shell Shack
What's that?
Seafood. Oh shoot, she
Oh,
can't
hell
do
yeah.
seafood.
Yes, I can.
You know
Okay.
what she do?
Well, she ain't supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll do it anyway. I had shrimp today.
Oh, okay.
Well, listen, just don't
Well,
sweat.
that
up
place
on
look
us.
good. So Friday. Okay, so Mica, let me tell you the ritual. So, I mean, I guess it ain't really a ritual, but the last time what we did, so we got there, we had to run from because we left like, about 4, 5, 4:35. Drove down, got there, had to get dressed, get to trap karaoke. Say the trap karaoke, got drunk, did our thing, whatever. Okay, so then I had an adventure afterwards. So I had an adventure afterwards, so I didn't make it back to the next morning. We slept till
Oh, yeah, that's
probably,
the adventure. I remember that.
yeah,
Okay.
till checkout.
Yes.
Slept till checkout, got up.
Girl, we
And we
slept
moved
till check
slow
Oh, my
as
God. Because
hell.
we were so hungover.
Yes.
Shut up.
We kicked it. Because after we went to trap karaoke, we went out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went out afterwards to
Okay.
some, I don't know what kind of place that was.
I don't either.
Yeah, so we went out. We went to our cousin's house and then we went out.
Okay, that's what's up then.
Yeah. So
And
we
then she
kicked it.
left me.
Yeah.
I
And
love
I had
you.
to go back to the hotel by myself.
And then I Ubered back, so hush.
Yeah, so. But at least I got Mica this time.
Exactly.
If you decide
I know we're not
Yeah.
doing that
to
again.
get
Okay, so
thirsty.
I was on some other stuff that weekend, but I had a purpose in mind, and my purpose was served, and that's all I needed. I only needed it at one time.
That one time.
So, but that was weird. He would be, when I thought about like people repackaging vibrators and neatly putting it back. After I left he would definitely probably be that kind of person.
repackage it. Oh, you said he
Repackage
was
it,
like
put
a
it back.
clean freak.
Girl, his watches was laid perfect. Like wasn't nothing out of place. Like and he didn't know I was coming over there. That was one of them just on the whim. Hey, what you doing? I'm on my way, girl. And that house was too clean. Now I don't know if
That's what's up, though.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's what's up.
no, Mica.
Not at all.
No, because he got a son and everything. Like, that mean you got that baby trained. I mean, which I guess is
That's
not
good,
a bad
though.
thing.
That's good.
But
Depends on how bad it is, though. You know.
yeah, because you might have some OCD going on up in there. And I
Yeah,
don't want
you
you to
be
be
there,
mad
set
at
your
me and
cup
my
down,
kid.
Because that,
Mine don't think like that.
Yeah.
If mine come over and you might be real frustrated dealing with me
take
and
your
mine.
shoes off at the door. What?
Especially
Okay.
that little boy who got mud everywhere and don't care about being ashy, dirty, wet, nothing.
Yeah.
That one might frustrate you. You might get a little frustrated if you got OCD like that.
Sure
So
right.
that was just a little different to me. I need you to be, I don't need you to be dirty.
I need you to be
Exactly.
clean, though.
I need you to be
do too.
clean,
You
but I
can't
don't
be
need you to be
nasty.
like neat freak. Like if something move out of its place, you got
You
to
know
move it
it.
back. Like, Because I'm going to be like, okay.
Because to me, like, if a man's house is real nasty, to me, like, his hygiene is probably that way, too. To me.
I don't know
if that go together. Because I think a lot of men struggle with, like, keeping up a home. Like,
I don't know. If you just live in, like, real nasty
Now, if you live
environments.
in weird, not like hoarders, kind of like throwing your clothes all over the phone. But I don't know, because I don't know. Some men is just like not the whole, like, even my husband, he used to throw, like, I'd be like, you don't see the basket, like, right there, but all his, like, his underwear and his tank tops used to end up right on the floor beside the basket, like, right beside the basket that you probably
in the
could have.
basket.
Instead of in the basket, like, you could have picked it up and just put it right in the basket, like, a couple inches away. But, you know, he was always, you know, clean as shit, you know, but he probably looked for me, knew I was going to clean it up, so, you know, but most men that stay by themselves, they probably ain't got nobody clean it up. They like, oh, well, but I hope they wash their ass.
I mean, what's the name is clean. A person, like, his body and stuff is clean. Like, he does well with, now, I've been around some people and been like, I ain't never coming back down in this direction region ever because I smell.
I mean, it's just to me, like, if your house, it's one thing when your house is messy, but when it's nasty, if you can't even really clean up, what make me think that you washing your body good, that you care enough to do that,
you might
but not
care
your...
more to do that than you do about getting in the creases of your house. I just think, I don't know. I think it depends on the person. I have been around some people and I'm like, but that's like women who got nasty ass houses and you see them and they dress the hell up from head to toe. Honey, her weave is slayed. Her outfit is nice. Girl, she probably cares more about what this look like than what this look like. Yeah. I've literally met people like that. I actually have a cousin who, if you saw her, you would be like, she puts it together very well. But if you saw her house, you'd be like, oh, shit. Like, honey, this don't match. It don't match at all.
Some people just don't match.
I mean, that's true, but I don't know.
But if you're a man
and
say you're a man and I walk in your house, you just got the regular bed. You might not, you got your TV on, a little TV stand, and you got your little basket, and you might have little clothes, socks, or drawers, something. You know, and then in your living room, you might have me and Lava have beer cans, you know, on the thing. And it's just like a few, but, you know, your floor, you know, you just ain't leaving shit where it's like, I can't stand, like, nigga, especially if you smoke and you got the blunt stuff around, you got ashes around. I go in your bathroom and you got the little paper things on the floor that you couldn't pick up. See, that fucking shit irritates the fuck out of me. And I'm just going to tell you, like, I mean, did you just not have time to clean up? Because, I don't know. I just can't do the whole...
I don't know. Messy and nasty is two different things.
Yes, now being messy, some men I can kind of, get over, especially if you're a bachelor.
Yeah,
I can kind of see that.
A mess is okay. A little bit of a mess is okay.
A little bit of a mess is okay, but if you nasty
and you got days of food just sitting there stacked up, stuff like that, that's nasty.
Or even dishes in your sink like that. Like, you know, I go in your kitchen and you got just cups everywhere, or you got cups in your room that probably been like, nigga, you couldn't pick that shit up?
Yeah, because I feel like, what's the name? I had a friend whose house was just real, like, that shit was questionable. What lives underneath all this shit in here?
Exactly. Oh, hell no.
Like, why is this shit everywhere like this? Like, it's not just like, you know. Because, like I said, I've been around, what's the name? His house isn't, like, the cleanest. Of course, I know I've cleaned it up before for him. But, like, it's not like, you could tell he a bachelor. And he don't care. Girl, I used to, every time I was over there, I was the person changing at the toilet tissue. Because he would have the new toilet roll tissue.
You right sitting beside the stool.
Sitting beside the stool.
Put that shit on the goddamn roll.
In the roll, guys.
That's actually put his on the roll. It's always on the roll.
Oh, that's good.
He looked like he neat freak, though, kind of.
He's not a neat freak, but he's not nasty either.
Yeah.
So he cleans up.
See, as long as you ain't nasty.
Yeah, he cleans up.
Yeah. That's my thing. Because, you know, after a while, you know, you could tell somebody in the first, you know, shit. Tico used to get up early and girl beat and bleached everything, washed everything. You know, as long as I know you ain't nasty. Yeah. And you willing to clean up some shit. But if you just not...
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you just nasty, living in a nasty environment. To me, I'm going to just think your body ain't that clean.
Okay.
That's just me.
There's some other issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't want
understandable.
Get your balls what the balls smell like.
Well, before you ever put your mouth on it, you're supposed to kiss around it to make sure if you get a whiff of anything.
First of all, if you put your mouth on it, he better have just got out the shower.
Because men stink too.
Girl, but that's why when people talk about sticking their fingers up men's butts and stuff, that's my thing. Like, I don't care how neat, how clean, how anything men are. I just don't think that men are the cleanest creatures. Like, I think by nature they just kind of, they it's okay for them to sweat and kind of be a little icky from time to time.
That's why you should always get in the shower.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to get it. But I've met some men that, don't even wash between. Like, you have to be like, no, you can't just wash over it. You got to wash between it. Like,
exactly.
Your mama clearly wasn't standing there when you was washing over it for years. Okay. And so now your girlfriend's standing there with you and she like, nah, baby, you got to wash between, not just over.
If you 30, if you're 25, 21 and over, and I gotta tell you that you gotta wash between, that's probably it. We ain't gonna make it. If you don't know that by now.
You gotta wash between and not over. Yeah, like in my 20s, I had, you got to wash between.
I even hate for men to even call you and be like, hey, stop by, when you leave there. No, sir. Right. I mean, if I ain't never took no shower at your house or nothing, then 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to stop by your house and we not going to play no games like that. If I ain't went home and take a shower now, you can, hey, listen, what about I call you in about an hour because I'm going to have to run home,
right?
Take a shower.
Right.
I can come by after. But yeah, if it ain't freshly all,
all cleaned up for you, ain't going to work.
Ain't going to work for me.
But see, I get in the shower at somebody else's house quick.
See, and I won't really.
Well, okay, I take that back. It depends on what your bathroom situation look like. Because I done been in some people's houses and their bathroom situation just was very questionable. So I'm like,
I don't even remember ever taking a shower in nobody's house.
I just come home and take a shower usually.
I do too.
So if you go over there before you, like after an event, you come home and take a shower. Because if I come home, I done been so drunk sometimes that I can't make it to both places. So I got to make it to one or the other.
But if I get home, somebody. I ain't going back out. I don't think I ever took no shower at nobody's house.
You haven't?
I don't think so. I don't remember ever.
Girl, again, I didn't have them nights. It's either one or the other. So if you asking me to come over and I make it to my own house, I ain't getting back out. Yeah. It depends on the night. Now
it depends on if you're not like really intoxicated.
Like I'm not really.
But no, it's like if y'all on that type of level and you've been over there and took a shower before, that's all Yeah. Hey, right. I just left the club. I'm gonna have to jump in the shower. You got it. But not if Not if
this is new.
Not even if it's not new. If I ain't even if we just been on that type of level for a while and we ain't on that level, I'm not gonna take no shower at your house. I mean, Kyle hit me up. I need to go to the house, take care of some things. And I
would take a shower at their house.
If I've been there, if I've been in your space for a while, I would.
We've been in each other's space, and I've had, we didn't, to the point where I didn't spend the night, and I feel comfortable, but I ain't, I ain't never been,
Look at our bougette over here. She said, I'm not taking a shower.
I would. We have to be on a level, though, where... But I guess, I don't know.
What kind of level if you can sit and
like
have sex
dating,
with them?
Dating type. So not a fuck partner.
So you couldn't take a shower with
your fuck partner?
And my fuck partner, it depends on what type of level we on. That's what I'm saying.
But how can you fuck them and can't take a shower at their house?
No, I'm saying it would have to depend on the level. We would have to be somewhere where we've been fucking for years, and I didn't spend tonight maybe at your house or something, but it wouldn't be no fuck partner because I don't spend a night with fuck partners. I mean, that's two different things. Either we gonna be on cool terms where we kind of, we like each other and we doing that, or we fuck partners. Fuck partners, I don't feel like I should spend a night at your house. I'm gonna go home, I'm going to take a shower at my own house, and I'm gonna come by your house, stop through, and I'll be there for about 30 minutes, and I'm gonna see you later tonight. Sorry.
It depends on what side of town you live on. I can't be doing all of this back and forth.
Or you should have called me earlier. I'm just going to tell you no then.
Right.
Because if you just you didn't call me wee hours of the morning and I got to go home and I got to come back to your house and you say far, then it's just no.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you should have let me know at the beginning of the week.
That's all I was going to say. Now, if it's a fuck partner and I got you all the way on the other side of town and I'm in the middle between my house and your house,
that's different. Yeah, I wouldn't go all the way.
Now, we would have to be on some type of level, and I probably would come to your house and be like, I need to take a shower, but we'd have to be on that level. I just ain't never been, I guess, outside of people that I've been with, been real relationships, and so we would have, and they be at my house, so.
Right.
And
I'm okay with that. Hold on. Like, I actually like this whole thing coming to the house. That's my house.
To your house?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
Although, at this point, so... We recording this shit every time I say it. At this point, I'm not giving nobody else the address to my house.
Well, I would hope not.
If you ain't got the address at this point, you ain't getting it.
That makes sense though.
Because the situation I got currently going on.
No, that's some bullshit.
The fact that you still calling and texting or not texting because I don't know if you're texting. But then he started calling me from like other random numbers.
Did you tell him to stop calling?
No, because he didn't call back.
Okay.
But he called yesterday, right?
Yeah, but he called yesterday afternoon, but he didn't call back after I had talked to her. He didn't call back. But he called from like like his job or some shit.
Like, just try telling him to stop calling, because she haven't told him to stop calling.
Yeah, y'all talked on a few occasions, and all of a sudden now it's stalker shit. Like, that's weird.
That is
weird.
That
just mean he got stalker shit in his blood altogether.
Oh, he
like,
do.
You know what I'm saying? That's some weird shit.
Yeah. In fact, I haven't had sex with you. How about I ain't seen you in 13 years outside of a picture on
but you
Facebook.
ain't touched his hand, kissed him, or nothing.
I ain't touched your hand, kissed you. I ain't done nothing but work in a building that you worked in. I ain't never done nothing with you. And you calling and shit like that. Like, what the fuck?
That's weird.
You gotta just tell him to stop calling.
Yeah, like, listen.
And then if he can just keep on, then
exactly
take action.
Yeah.
But
like I told you, I need to be around like one of my other devices so I can record it.
Right.
So I have proof that I've been telling him, like, just stop calling me.
Yes.
I wonder if he has, like, driven around your apartment trying to see if he see you. I'm wondering. Because he know where it's at, right?
I mean, he's got the address.
Do he know the name of the apartments?
I mean, no, I didn't tell him the name of it. Oh, he's got the address. Nobody random, because, you know, sometimes I'll get a random.
He has the address?
Yeah, but I haven't so this is the thing. Like, that Wednesday, he was like, I want to come through and say hi. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But I only gave him the address to the complex. Like, I didn't tell him my building number, my house number. Got you. And I gave him the code to the gate so they could call me when he got there. Shit. But no, you can't just get in my gate.
Okay.
You gotta call me. Like, nobody has a code to, like...
But you know you can follow behind somebody.
Yes, but you can follow behind somebody into it. But he got lost. So he called me and was like, man, my GPS is tripping. I don't know where I'm going. I'm lost. So he never made it. I don't know where he made it to. But he said he only made it up to that Circle K, which is like, you know that Circle K on the other side of the Brahms?
Oh, yeah.
He only made it that far.
Okay.
So he didn't make it over to the other space. But, I mean, there's a lot of different, like, smaller complex things over there, too. So, like I told her, I'm just hoping that he ain't bright enough to, like...
Do he know what kind of car
put it together? He don't know what kind of car drive. He don't know, like, the building I'm in. None of that. I have thought about that. Like, I mean, I guess you could be just, like, driving through my complex.
Yeah,
and, like, one day, like, just see me. So, like, one day I was getting out the car, girl, and I hesitated. I don't never hesitate to get out the car in my unit. Even if I'm going, like, I done been to the gym and shit at, like, 5 in the morning. I ain't never hesitated to get out. And the other day I hesitated, like, it was dark, and I thought about it, and I looked around to make sure, like, the cars that I noticed or that I recognized was there, and, like, it didn't look like nobody was just, like, creeping or nothing. Like, yeah, that shit's scary.
Yeah.
And it's scary when it's somebody you don't even know. Because you really, I mean, we just worked with him, but that was really it. But you really don't really know him and know how he thinking.
Exactly.
And his thought process. Because for him to even keep calling, like, that's crazy.
Private.
Yes.
Other numbers, that's weird.
Because clearly I don't want to talk to you because I haven't answered the phone. So why are you calling?
Exactly.
And then one time I did answer the phone. I answered to see if it, just to make sure, because I was like, okay, maybe it's somebody else. You know, I don't know, because I'd be like, you know, just assuming. And for a while, I was just assuming. You know, I done got 4 missed calls on one day, 8 missed calls another day, 5 on another day. It's just random, like, weird shit. And so I was like, well, you know, let me pick up and try. And I picked up, and he was on the other line, and I just hung up. That day it was 9 missed calls. Like, why do you keep calling me? I didn't even say nothing to you. You said hello, I recognized your voice, and I hung up. Like, I ain't said nothing to him since then. Like, we ain't talked since the conversation last week when I was like, I'm good, don't worry about it, not interested, cool. Blocked him, and I was done. But you've been calling and calling and calling me ever since. Like, and that's the other thing, Mica, like, I don't really do, like, people just showing up at my house or just showing up around. Like, that's why I'm real particular about that kind of stuff, because I got kids. Like, that's creepy as hell.
Creepy, very.
Yeah, you might have to put a VPN on him if he keeps calling.
You know, I thought about that too, because I was like, how much more of this do you have to take from a person before you finally just be like, okay, something's wrong with you.
Right. Well, that's obvious.
Exactly.
Like, something's really wrong with you. Like, now you gotta be questioning my safety. And I thought about that yesterday when I was like, damn, he's still fucking calling? And when he called yesterday, we was in a funeral. And then after that, he called a couple more times. And then he called from, like, a advanced auto number. So I don't even know who the hell they were. I was like, why would somebody be calling me from there? But it was in between them calls. So I was like, I don't know nobody that working, nothing like that. And I do know he got a part-time job.
Don't answer none of that shit.
So I was like, what the hell?
Well, she might have to answer just to tell him, like, to record it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, like,
Exactly,
you know,
that's
please
true.
don't call me again or whatever. However you're going to say it to him and then be done with it. And then if he's still calling, then...
I mean, like, I know last week we was laughing about it, but that shit is not funny anymore.
No,
No, it's not funny.
It ain't funny.
Not
Not
funny
when
whatsoever.
you still calling.
Not when you still calling. It was funny last week, but it ain't funny no more.
It ain't.
So.
Yeah, at this point it's getting scary.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
right, what are you doing?
Look, I watch too many Lifetime movies.
Okay.
Girl.
Boy, don't make me.
You told me you wanted to be with me.
Okay, yeah. Exactly.
Girl, I thought of it
no.
yesterday. I was so creeped out yesterday, and the thing I was just like, I just thank God like that. You know, and it's like I keep telling Dante, like, God's provision and God's protection, because it wasn't nobody but God that hung that phone up.
It was because just
and he
imagine,
never figured out.
He'd be the one that stayed, you know, because I had a homegirl one time, girl that would, you know, stop messing with a guy. And he came behind, you know, on the windows and her door and wouldn't leave until the police came. Great, yeah. So thank God he, you know, you didn't give him the actual address, and he knew where you say you invite him over, and you felt like maybe this ain't it. Like, hey.
Right.
You know, this is not what I'm looking for.
Right.
And he know where you stay. That'd be some fucked up shit, because he'd have been like, man,
He'd have been knocking on the door. Why you ain't answering my call and shit?
Yeah.
And my window and shit with my kid. Girl.
kids, yeah.
Ugh. Thank you, God.
Okay.
That's what I told her. I said, you don't even know when God is protecting you sometimes. And Lord Jesus, he hung up that phone. He was like,
Click.
He told her, you talking too much. Hang this phone up. You telling too much.
Too much. I mean, because you don't know. I mean, that's why I was telling somebody else, like, you don't think anything of it because it's somebody I worked with. Like,
Exactly.
I didn't, you know, and that's the thing. I guess that's the other part about things is we get too comfortable in situations, but I didn't think nothing of it. He was one of my coworkers, you know, so it wasn't like I ever got creepy vibes from him then.
Exactly.
Like, hell no. So, anywho, so all of anyone listening, if Capri comes up missing, there's something else going on, you guys know, hit up my girls because they will know exactly who to start looking for. So, anyway, so we got a question last week, after the recording last week. So one of our fans that listens to us a lot sent me a question, and he asked, he said, ladies, do you want a man to lead you, or do you want to be in an equal partnership? Which I think.
I would rather have a man to lead me, but I've always ended up in those type of equal partnership relationships where we have to split everything down the middle. Because, you know, back in the day, you know, when we was raised, the man paid the bills. You know, you stayed at home, whatever that looks like. You know, I don't know if I could ever be that wife to stay at home and depend on a man. But I wouldn't have a problem with a man actually leading me.
So is it not possible to do both?
I want both.
I think it's possible to be in an equal partnership.
Well, okay, when you say equal, are you saying equal as in 50-50, like we split everything 50-50?
Basically, yeah.
I don't want to do that either.
I don't either.
I don't want to split everything 50-50.
That's what I say, so you want him to lead you.
Yeah, but being treated as an equal.
Yeah, I want to be treated as an equal.
Yeah, so
You know,
I don't want to
as far
be. I don't want a man to lead me to the point to where, you know, I can't make decisions. Everything have to go through him. My opinion really don't matter, because I know sometimes, you know, the men have the final say. So in situations like that, so that when I think of equal partnership, my thoughts, my opinions matter just as much as yours do. Exactly. But I want you to be leading me at the same time.
That's true.
So that's why I said, is it not possible to have both? Because I think that you can have an equal partnership with someone and still allow them to lead. So the way that they say submission is supposed to work, or like supposed to happen, is you're supposed to be like in an equal partnership where we talk and we confide and we talk about things. Like he didn't just make a decision about the family. He doesn't just make a decision about what's going to happen. You guys talk about those kind of things. And if we can't agree, then he gets the final say. Or maybe then he says, you know, because then he's supposed to be the leader of the home, so you're supposed to trust that he will make a decision that works best for y'all.
Look at me.
Now I'm just
no,
saying.
no.
Is that what that means? I mean, so then he's supposed to ultimately make a decision that then, but I mean, it's the same thing that you do with your kids. Like,
Yeah,
we
but
talk about it, you know, and I get that, you know, we don't want to compare it to kids wise, but if we're talking like order in your home, like you trust that he follows God, because God is supposed to be the head of your household. So then he's making decisions for your family that he's consulted with God on. So he's no longer consulting with you. He's now consulting with God. This is supposed to be like how the triangle's supposed to work.
Right. So, yeah. So I could see that. I wouldn't mind my husband doing that, you know, like if we can't agree, but still take my opinion and what I'm saying, you know, into account. We talk about it, you know, whatever. Don't just disregard everything that I have to say.
I'm going to have to work on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I don't think
on that all together.
I don't think that at all things. So, say for instance, like an example would be he's getting a job promotion that's in another state. So then we sit down, we talk about it, and it just makes better sense for us to move. But I'm attached to where we're at, not because of anything that makes me attached. I'm just attached. I mean, this is familiar. This is what I've always done. This is always, you know, this is just my familiar grounds. But it's a better move for the family to move somewhere else.
He feels it's in the best interest.
I mean,
exactly.
but even you know, I mean, y'all sat down and talked about it. Y'all talked about it. Financially, it's a better move. You know, educationally, it's a better move for the kids. You know, y'all have looked into different homes. You've looked into different things. Like, it levels the family up in a way that would be beneficial for your family versus staying here. But your only reason for staying is, well, my mama lived down the street, and so I don't really want to leave my mama. You know, you have some people like that, or my family's here. Like, I don't want to leave my family.
That's you. And what would you do in that situation if that scenario was you? Would you go?
I'm not the perfect person to ask that to, because say, for instance, my job said, you know, like if his job was saying that, you know, they can move him, I probably would it probably wouldn't be no conversation, which I know is probably horrible because my family is here and I can't see, like, unless, and I'm just being honest, and I used to tell him that because he wanted to move, but I'm like, unless we can move my mama and my sister and my brother want to move their family.
But what if maybe you moving into that space puts you in a financial space to be able to eventually move them there? I mean, so like I said, you guys
I might as well stay
about
here until you get to that financial space where I can move them, because that's just how close I am to my mom, my sister, my brother.
I get that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so then in those spaces, are we saying that I trust my husband to make a decision to say, okay, this is not something I'm comfortable with, but I trust that he's not going to do anything in this space that's going to put us in danger. Me being here because my family is here is ultimately not always the best decision. Because what if him being here, his job pays less, y'all struggling on the bills, you trying to figure out how to make it from one end to the next, and then I can send my husband off. But then you got women who send their husbands off, and you mad when he becomes somebody else's husband because you.
But it's a lot of relationships like that, marriages like that, where the husband is in a whole nother state.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. But then you done sent your husband off.
And he, hopefully, I mean, again, if you saying that he's this trustworthy man, hopefully you can trust him there too.
Because that, I mean, you still got to take care of your marriage. You can't trust him. I mean, that's like my husband being like, you know what, well, you know, because what if it's the other way around?
I don't think you can get mad at that though. Like if you decide,
but that should be like how we said at the beginning. That should always be something maybe we talked about at the beginning. Like, because I will tell you at the very beginning, that's where that communication gonna have to come at the very beginning of that relationship. Like, do you want to ever move out of Oklahoma? You know what I'm saying? And he like, heck yeah, this is not where I plan to be. I need to know that from the beginning, because I'm going to tell you from the beginning, I'm not the one to just jump up and move from Oklahoma because of this, and that. You know, and if you're not good with that, we probably don't need to go ahead and continue with this relationship.
But that's what I'm saying. But what if he just didn't know? This is just something that, you know, because y'all do recognize, like, blessings come sometimes in spaces that you just, you know, he was talking to somebody was like, oh, you have a degree in X, Y, and Z. I got a friend that lives up in New York who can put you on, and you talking about $150,000 job there, and he's just been making little $40,000, $50,000 here. Like, it's best for our family. I'm not saying New York because New York's a little more expensive, but I'm just saying.
But
I'm saying, but if you go in a space and you look and it's financially best for your family, it levels up your family.
But
it levels up the
I
things.
get all that, but it still go back to the person at the end of the day. Because sometimes money might not be important. Family might be more important than making.
But I mean, you can bring your family. You at this point, you can't do nothing for your family.
I don't think you can really just bring your family. It's up to your family if they want to leave, though.
It is definitely up to your family.
They might not want to.
So when you get a husband, are you supposed to always take into consideration what your family wants?
No, you're not supposed to. But again, before I got married, mine knew. He knew if I move, then that would be something that I need to be like, hey. Because I've talked about it to my sister and brothers before, like, would y'all be willing to move? And both of them have jobs where they can. They spouses and everything, so we've talked about just up and moving. But I'm not moving without them. Like, I can't see being away from my siblings and my, because we just grew up together. We've been really, really close.
I understand that. I can leave my siblings, but when my mom was alive, I felt that way.
Yeah.
It was like I would never move out of Oklahoma. And I remember at one point, Trigeri had talked about doing like active military, which would require moving, every 3 years or whatever. And I wasn't willing to do that because I didn't want to leave my mom. Now, if I had a husband that was like, okay, let's, I got a better opportunity, I would do it. Okay. In my job, I could transfer my job, then I would do it. So, but now, I'm not attached to really anything here in Oklahoma. So
right. But I think that that's where it comes into that play because we say we want a man that leads, but then when he gets to leading,
we like,
well, you need to take into consideration the fact that when we first started this process, I told you I wasn't leaving my mama. Okay. But this is a better thing for us and a family, as a family. And no, money's not always a number one thing, but if it puts us in a position to be able to create a legacy for our family, why wouldn't we do it? Because we're not just here every day to just live for ourselves. We have to start taking into consideration the generations behind us. So if we living in a space where we can barely make it ourselves, and you're going to put us in a position, maybe even for a couple of years, where I have to be without my family, so that we can be in a position to be able to then start generating generational wealth, then what am I doing? And I think that there are some women who are like, well, my mama's more important. Well, okay, well, what happens when your mother dies? What happens when we die? Because at this point, we ain't got shit to leave behind. We just gonna go. And I get that part. Maybe we need to start taking into consideration those kind of things. And so I think that that's the difference between being like, oh, we want a man to lead. Because that's what they, not necessarily saying that's the perfect, dynamic. But that's generally when they say, a man leading a household, he's supposed to consult with God. And then you and him consult because you guys are in an equal partnership with each other. So he comes to you, he consults with you, he talks to you about how things are going. But ultimately, the decision should be left up to him to be able to make a decision for your family. And if you trust in his relationship with God, then you trust that whatever he does, he moves in a space that helps your family. So what happens if he makes a decision for the family? I'm just playing devil's advocate. And the decision he makes for the family is not a good decision. Then do you then go in and get mad at him for making that decision? Because a lot of us will be like, well, the reason why I'm up here in the first place is because you got this job. And I told you that if you just would have left us back home.
That's going to be your first thought process anyway.
Yeah, you're
going to blame him. You're going to blame him. But should you probably say it out loud? Probably not. But 9 times out of 10, especially when you get to that point, you're going to probably say them words that you probably shouldn't say.
It's going to come out eventually.
Yeah.
But the thing is, are you then resenting him for making decisions for the family? Because if you trust him to make decisions for the family and you said, okay, I trust that this is what we're doing. You're leading me. I'm following your lead. Yes, you're human. You make errors. You're going to make a mistake from time to time. Am I really resenting you for making decisions for the family? So am I really truly okay with the fact that you're leading? Or am I only allowing you to lead because, in my mind, I think this is what you're supposed to do? I haven't really sold myself on the idea that you're supposed to be leading because I think that's what happens.
I think you could be okay with a person leading and still have those feelings because you are human.
But I think that sometimes we have resentment because we really don't trust you anyway. Like, I didn't really trust your move. I didn't really trust what you were doing. I didn't really trust the fact that you're doing this. I'm only letting you lead because I feel like this is what you're supposed to do. So I don't really trust that what you're doing anyway, because even if if you're human, but you also recognize he's human, then you also recognize that he may lead us in spaces sometimes that he thought might have been a good idea. Acrimony. That he thought might have been a good idea. He thought might be good for the family. He thought might be a good space for us to be in. And it wasn't really, I never saw it. And so am I pushing you to see something different? Like, am I really trusting you in that space?
And that's the issue right there, because I guess sometimes if you don't even trust him in that space, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, and I know that's probably not right, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to go with the whole thing that I'm going to let you make that final decision, because if I got in the back of my mind anyway that I know I should let him be a man, you know what I'm saying, but I don't even trust it in the back of my mind anyway that you probably going to make the best decision, and you didn't lay it out to me everything, and I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, this don't sound like it's going to be the best decision for us, but I'm like, let me let him be a man and do it. I'm just going to struggle with that, because I'm probably going to say, hell no, we're not doing this.
But I don't think that's not letting a man lead because you disagree with one decision. Like, if you allow him to lead, say, 95% of the time, but every now and then you don't trust it, because, I mean, he is human at the end of the day.
And I get that part.
And so you can't always make this... Your decision isn't always the best.
But I don't think that every decision you make is going to be the best. I don't think that that's the thing. I think
and if I know it's not the best, I'm not going to go along with it.
But
if I can really truly see it,
exactly,
that this is truly a bad move for us.
So let me tell you what happens. And so I think this is where we struggle with this. We've talked about it on several occasions. The submissive portion of black women. Because a lot of us have grown up in spaces where we've made decisions for ourselves. And so if it's a bad decision and I made it myself, shit, I ain't got nobody to blame but me.
Exactly.
But if I'm in a relationship with someone who I said, I trust my everything with you till death do us part. I vowed to you to be your wife, to be the woman who's going to stand by your side no matter what. There should be no spaces where I stop and tell you, I knew you shouldn't have, because that tears him down as a man. Because then how am I supposed to build him up to believe the trust that maybe this time you made a mistake. And maybe you did that.
I get all that.
You trust him. He made a bad mistake. Y'all up in New York. All of a sudden, this job didn't fall through because the company didn't went bankrupt.
But that's not his fault.
No, that ain't his fault. But let's just say that y'all moved. The company break. Now all of a sudden y'all ain't got, you know what I'm saying? This money ain't saved up. Y'all just can't move back to where you come from. At some point in time, as a woman,
you start to resent
any
him.
woman. You gonna resent them at some point.
Any woman doesn't do that, though. That's the thing. And I think sometimes because we are so independent that maybe a little quicker than others, we point that out instead of just letting you take that fault, because you don't think he doesn't understand it. You don't think he don't feel it. So we want to tell you.
But that's not my personality to be doing it. Like, oh, I told you we shouldn't have did this. It's okay, let's figure this out.
But it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
First of all.
What?
Don't tell me about no personality. So let me tell you this. We in the car yesterday, leaving your grandma's house. We get out to, we go all the way down to Martin Luther King. And she say, when you get to 23rd and Martin Luther King, turn right. She say this before we get down there. Uh-huh. But we on Martin Luther King, she say, I turn left because we got to get to 23rd to turn right. And she say, I know I told you to turn right. Wait. Whole nother voice. Whole nother person came out in that. And I said, well, you said turn right on 23rd and Martin Luther King. Like, we on like 20, like maybe 20th in Martin Luther King at this point. So I got to turn left to get there. So I don't want to hear her say, because she ain't got to yell at you. But I feel so, I was kind of intimidated. I was like, wait, who is this? I had to tell her, I said, I don't think I ever met that person before. Who is that?
And you probably might not have to say too much to your man, but I bet your voice tells everything.
I told you, because she going to be like, I told you we shouldn't have came all the way down here. It ain't going to have, that might be it. That's all you need to say.
And that might be all that you have to say.
I told you not to da-da-da-da. But I think sometimes the thing is the doubt. Because they already know, I think, sometimes that they've made bad decisions. or that they've taken a job that you said you probably shouldn't do that. And we like to be the ones who kind of sarcastically say, kind of told you that, but we won't say it. So instead of saying, baby, it's okay, I understand it didn't work out, we'll figure it out from here, and keeping all my negativity pushed back here, don't mean that I'm being stupid in the situation or that I'm not acknowledging the situation. I think sometimes what it means is I'm going to take care of your ego, because if I continue to take care of you as my man, you'll continue to take care of us as your family. And so sometimes just being a little more gentler about how we do things would probably help a little bit more.
So I'm going to use my own marriage as an example. So I remember when I was working at the lighting place and I got the job offer at the FAA. And I remember talking to my husband about it. And I'm like, hey, I got this job offer. I don't really know, whatever. So he told me, I don't think you should take it because it's a further drive and this and that. He pointed out all the bad. I went against it and I took the job. And then, I took the job because I'm looking at the job description. I'm like, okay. And I'm looking future-wise. Future-wise, I'm like, this is a better fit for me. It's more of a career for me. I feel like I could do better in life if I take this job. But he was like so against it. So at that point, I went against my husband. But I'm glad that I did. So I do not think that, your man is they can't always give you the best advice. Because what if I would have just said, okay, well, he's the leader of my household, so I'm going to just go with what he's saying and then just be stuck at this job forever because he don't think I should take a different job.
Well, then I think you also have to know your mate. So then there's also those things when we're dating and we're courting, we're having conversations with the men that we're dating. We probably should know whether or not this is a cheerleader and somebody who's going to have your back and who's going to want you to do what's best. And
it's not even that. What if he just felt that was just the best decision because the drive was too far?
Decision.
It was his decision.
And he might have thought he was telling her the best things, like pointing out what the cons was versus some of the pros. Like,
but if the only con is that's too far of a drive,
that probably wasn't the only con.
No, I mean I think it was like some other stuff in there he was saying or whatever. You've been out there for years and just different stuff. Exactly. He was like, weighing, this is a new job, just stuff like that. But I went against everything that he was saying and did what I felt was best.
Because sometimes I feel like, and I understand that in a marriage you probably got to consider your mate, but sometimes when it comes to like careers and things like that, I mean sometimes, because it's going to be me doing it, so I'm going to make the best decision for me in the end of the day.
I'm trying to figure out, so how would you feel?
I mean, I want to be in a relationship where I allow my husband to lead and I'm also an equal partner. And if he made a decision in a space that I ultimately didn't agree, I would try to figure out a way to be able to submit myself or humble myself enough to allow him to be okay with making those kind of decisions. But you wouldn't be upset that if he made the wrong decision? I may be upset, but I don't need to tell him I'm upset.
And sometimes that's easier said than done, and that's with anybody. It's just easier said than done, like where I'm not going to be, like I probably, again, like I said, you probably shouldn't say it, but sometimes, how many times have you been in an argument with your mate or your spouse and said some things that you probably shouldn't have said? Now, again, y'all probably going to work it out and make it happen. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? And that's just depends on the situation altogether, the relationship. But, 9 times out of 10, even if he messed up, I got to come, even if we got to figure out a way where we got to come together to fix it. But sometimes you might be like, this is what the fuck I told you.
That's what I'm saying. Eventually, you might, like I said, be humble and not say anything, but it may come out.
But that's what I'm saying. So are you truly letting a man lead you if that's the attitude you have?
I ain't never letting a man lead me.
Okay, there you go.
Just because it may come out?
No, just because there is spaces where you may resent somebody for making a decision that pisses you off.
I think you can still let him lead you and be okay with him leading
with
you
limits.
And still having those feelings because you're human. You're
I'm gonna definitely say with limits, because I mean if I continuously
let's just be real and say that you can allow a man to lead you with limits.
I'm saying it with limits. Yeah. I am. Because you make so many decisions that at some point you done made too many bad decisions, and it's not for the best of our whole lifestyle and whatever the case, how that looks, our whole,
But I don't know that I could just wholeheartedly put my 100% trust in a person.
Exactly.
In general, I don't know that.
So that was the question. The question is, do you want a man to lead you?
I do.
or do you want an equal partner?
Yeah.
And what you're saying is you want somebody to lead
It depends.
you, but it depends on the person and the decisions they
depends.
make and how often they make the decisions and whether or
It
not
just
you agree with the
depends.
decisions
Exactly.
they make.
I mean, like she said, if he's making the majority of the decisions are bad decisions, then
All of a sudden you ain't gonna make those decisions no more. Because sometimes I know when I get on the phone with my customers, y'all, and it just irritates the shit out of me. If I'm talking to this woman and I'm telling, you didn't call me. Now you called me. And we talking about, your situation as far as like your entertainment needs or whatever. And I done told you didn't call me to save some money. I done gave you everything in the book that's going to save some money. And you tell me after all this 45-minute conversation that you need to talk to your husband? What? That's just me because I've never talked to mine about anything like that. I just don't. I'll make the damn decision. I'm going to tell him what I did after the fact. And hopefully he trusts it. Because I'm not going to make, you know what I'm saying? If it's something as far as, we saving money and I know I done been through it and I know what that looks like and I know you really don't handle that, I'm going to make the decision. So when women tell me sometimes like, oh, I got to talk to my husband because I don't know how much we pay for this because he handles that. Or I don't know how much he does because he handles that. And I've never been that type of woman because I'm not going to let you handle anything because God forbid if something happens and you're no longer there. Like these older women and their husbands that went on and he done paid these bills all their life. And all of a sudden they done got 3 months behind because they don't even know who the fuck they got for their services. They don't know how much the fuck the bill is. And all of a sudden, they like, well, why is my bill? Ma'am, because you ain't paid in 3 months. That's why. Well, my husband died about 4 months ago and he handled everything. Well, that's the problem.
But
Shit.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to need y'all to get it together. Women,
so I think some men like the idea of, or again, we say submissive and being submissive and blah, 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 and letting people lead. But I think some of us are okay with you leading with limits.
Yes.
I mean,
limits.
But then how does he know when those limits? Just whenever he
don't know
decides
because he don't know because I'm gonna tell him
when you make a
when
decision.
he comes to talk to me. I'm gonna say, well, it doesn't sound good, and then if I say it 3 times, the conversation is over. I said it don't sound like it's a good idea. Like, that's it.
But that's the problem I think that some men have. Even though Dante likes to say it's not just black women. I think white women have
black women gonna be more vocal with it. Black women
are gonna be more vocal.
Black women is more
women in
vocal.
general.
I think black women
white
is
women
more
aren't as
vocal.
vocal about it.
No, I agree with that part, but I'm just saying
whether they agree or not is
have
a difference.
An issue. I'm just saying an issue. If the husband made a bad decision, I think they would still have an issue with it. How vocal they are is probably different.
Exactly, and that's the problem because sometimes we should bite our tongue. Probably more black women need to bite their tongue and not say it.
And that's all I'm saying.
Other nationalities may bite their tongue, even though they might go tell their friend on the phone when she getting the girl, okay, bye, I'm gonna leave and go to the grocery store. She gonna be Susan. Bitch, he did it again. He invested all the money, and I told him, so we gonna tell him right then and there. Listen, bad fucking decision. We not gonna do it. But she may not tell him that she gonna. I bet her friends know though that she done agreed.
And he feels better about the situation because he feels like she agree or she's leading and she's understanding and she follows better and she's more submissive. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they don't have problems with it. What I'm saying is they just
less
don't
vocal.
say anything
because
about
I've been told that like you don't like I've been told like in my marriage like I didn't support him in a lot of things he do. But if it don't sound right to me, now you sit down and we talking about this and it just don't sound right, like this financial adventure that you want to take. Now you want to do what? And she may not say nothing, but I'm asking no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. Where she may not have said nothing.
Yeah,
and,
but I think sometimes, example, my friend that we always talk about, that was her thing. She just basically was like, you want to do what? You want to be a firefighter? She never saw the dream. And so, you want to do what? You want to buy a truck? I think you need to buy this kind of car. And you get to the other side of things, and when he starts talking, he's like, it would have been in my best interest to do X, Y, and Z. And sometimes I think we're not necessarily making decisions. We're making it because to us, we don't see the dream. And we don't see the end goal. And we don't see that it would be in the best interest of our husbands. You know
that person, though.
But not necessarily, because it took him 8 years to get there.
And that's okay, though.
But
if you see that he's that type of person that's going to strive to do his best. Now, if you giving me, just like that man on Acrimony that you're talking about, he just constantly trying to invent this product, and you not seeing nothing going behind it, but I'm constantly giving, like I'm giving you all this money, that's not the type of person that I can't see the dream. No, nigga, we gonna be broke and in the fucking homeless house before we see this dream, and I'm not gonna do that.
But I think sometimes those are conversations that we are lacking or clearly missing somewhere in the midst of dating before I become your wife. Because when I become your wife, I'm invested in your dream because we want them invested in ours.
We do, but again, to a certain level where we not dishing out this money, and we basically, nigga, we ain't got nothing in the bank accounts. We barely living paycheck to paycheck. Nigga, we got to borrow money from my mama, your mama, whoever that may look like, to pay our bills because you keep investing in some shit that ain't going nowhere.
Right.
No, I'm not doing that.
So I just think that sometimes, and I say that, but I think sometimes even without education, we're combative about it. Even without recognizing whether or not it'd be best, good, nothing, it just don't sound right to us. I don't like that idea, so I'm just not gonna follow behind it. And I think sometimes also we need to be a little more invested in the idea of following up with it. Like, is it a good idea? What does this look like? How can we do this and makes it beneficial for, because if we're invested in it together, if we're an equal partner, that means we're invested in it together. And so somewhere in this process, maybe I need to be looking into it as well as you're looking into it.
Well, I think you should be open to hearing about it and like, doing some research and stuff like that. Not shoot it down as soon as a person bring it to you. But if it's not the,
Yeah, no, I'm definitely open to listening, but if I sit there and I'm listening and all of a sudden, and I'm okay with going with it, but all of a sudden it financially it's not the best decision because all we doing is dishing money out here. And especially if this is all your dream that you're looking forward to and you're not bringing in no money with it, yeah, that's going to be an issue for me. It's just my money that we dishing because all of a sudden you got this dream and you out here trying to find it, but you ain't got no job either. And you just trying to...
but he had a job. He had a couple of jobs. Like I said, for that space, in that situation, she just basically shot down anything that didn't line up with what she felt like was...
Then she wasn't the person for him.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so a lot of men are with women who are just literally shooting down dreams and visions and things, and they have zero reasons to do it. But just because I just don't believe in it, or I don't see it, or it wasn't my future, or it just wasn't what I decided. And so, again, when you have those conversations, that's another thing. We talked about not rushing into marriage and not running into trying to be somebody's husband or somebody's wife or whatever, but sitting down and having those valuable conversations. I'm sure if we look at Nipsey Hussle, one of them girls didn't think he was coming off the corner.
And he probably didn't. Ever.
But what I'm saying is he had all these dreams. To somebody, those were dreams.
No, but I think that
without dollars, without money, without anything to them, to somebody, those were simply just dreams.
But sometimes a person's conversation, though, you can kind of, like, even though, like, they sitting on the corner, you can have a conversation with them and tell, like, where they want to be. Yeah, this is where I'm at right now, but this is not,
and
this
it don't sound like no bullshit ass conversation.
So with somebody like that, I can see your vision with you. Yeah, this is where you at right now, and I know you're on the corner, but if you speaking like, yeah, I want to own some properties, I want to invest in this, conversations that you're not getting from other people.
And you see him making those steps towards
I can see
that.
So
question. So how do you see that if we at the very beginning of stages and we ain't got a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of? Because the other assumption is, like I said, we see his dream. We see the fruition of his dream. We see the other side of his dream. At some point, he was on that corner every day, making that money, trying to bring to fruition that dream.
Depends on what he was doing with his money. Maybe he was setting something back for his investment.
And we don't know that, though. So there might have been somebody on the other side of that who had to try to watch what that was supposed to look like. So you out all night, you're not doing, you're not bringing home, you bringing home pennies and dimes, and then you want to save the pennies and dimes. Hell, the baby, we need some diapers for the baby. The baby needs some milk. Like, and you trying to save money when you out here hustling.
No, you still got to take care of you.
But that's what I'm saying. But even if your hustle may be what you need to put up, but you may, again, I'm just saying, some dreams, sometimes we can't see the end to it. And to go back to what we were saying, if you're saying you want someone to lead, sometimes I think we have to be in a space where we're okay with you leading. That's all I'm saying. And like, we can't be so combative to the space of, well, you lead me, but X, Y, and Z, and I got about 15 different lists of shit that you got to follow before I'm going to let you go.
Like we just said, leading with limits.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
So,
what I'm
yeah.
gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shit. So, you know, I got about 15 different stipulations that you got to meet first.
Because if I'm strongly against something, and I truly feel in my heart that it's not the right decision, I can't go with it. I probably won't go with it.
So
That's me.
So
But-
equal partnership?
Leading with limits. And equal partnership.
Okay.
I love it.
Exactly.
I don't think it's an equal partner. I don't think it's leading with limits. I think it's hard for, like, it's any business. It's hard for them to lead with limits. But again, I completely understand because I'm a black woman and I've dealt with a lot of shit on my own. And you make too many damn decisions, I'm gonna start saying hell no. You know, at some point, we gotta take into consideration our family, what's going on. If I'm paying for every goddamn thing, so you might need to start investing in your own dream at some point. And then if I'm investing in your dream, and then you get a $2 job, and then your $2 job is just investing in your dream, and it's not. It's naturally we've been raised to look at shit like that.
Because what if he leading and he running y'all right on down into the ground? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna agree with you investing all of our savings into a project.
But I might need to need to back out and let you do that because the man in Amazon did that, and look where his wife got him. And I think sometimes the thing is our vision is not big enough for that. We don't expand it long enough and far enough, and we don't have the patience to let you go.
Look at how many, we talking about Amazon, but how many people have invested that money and don't have anything.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it can really go either way. That's what I'm saying. I'm supporting your dream, and I'm okay with you investing some of our money, but to take our balance down to zero, I don't know how comfortable I am with that.
I might let you do it a time or two because I feel like you can rebuild a savings. But, I don't know about a third or fourth or fifth or sixth that we just keep draining the savings and we can't get a tire for the car. Like, I don't know that I'm okay with just walking down that road. But to some extent, somebody has struggled with a millionaire.
Oh, definitely.
Somebody struggled with the man who had a dream, who didn't.
That's true.
That you didn't see the dream, right? Yeah. That you didn't see the dream. He barely saw the dream. You know, he was in there investing in the dream, and you just kept pushing towards the dream, and maybe you had to hold him down through the dream. Anyway, but that's been a long conversation.
Okay, so let's kind of touch on another conversation
we got
this
a little
week.
bit of time. Yeah.
So we were talking about discussing bullying, and I think which is a big thing right now. So this week, I've already told you guys, was one of my little headaches, going forward this week is, my daughter had got a call from her school, and basically one of the assistant principals saying that she couldn't come back to school, this past week for some days, because it was a situation reported that she had been bullying. And so, basically I'm like, okay, so, I had to meet with the administration or whatever, which, at that time, I'm over there with family, when I get the call and I'm explaining the situation to them. And they're like, no, I can't see her doing it. I'm like, knowing my daughter, she's gonna be, when she grows up, definitely that alpha female. Because she definitely she stands her grounds on any means necessary when it comes to her. But they were just saying that, the little girl had actually considered, committing suicide. So I thought that would be a good conversation because I've actually seen a lot of stories here recently where kids are committing suicide. So we goes up to the school, you know what I'm saying? And before we go up to the school, for one, I was with family late, so Jayden, I didn't get home till late, to get back to Jayden or whatever. And so when I get to her, I tell, that day she had to stay with me. We getting ready for the funeral or whatever. But what I made her do was, because I'm like, and I have made her done this more than once, but, I was like, okay, I ain't gonna whoop her. I need to hear the conversation because my sister and them kept trying to explain to me that, well, maybe it's that, Jayden and the little girl and her, are getting into it. you know, and maybe it's that the fact that, you know, my baby is coming back harder, you know, and the little girl is just not built that way to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, handle what she's coming back towards. And I'm like, okay, so, you know, when I, you know, the next day I makes her, you know, watch bullying videos. And to me, you know, I feel like, and girl, and even when I went up to school, I had told them, you know, because in our community, we don't think maybe a lot of black kids commit suicide, but I wanted her to realize that black kids do it too. So, girl, that whole day before she was out of school, before I met with him, the day before we had met with him, girl, I made her watch. Girl, I actually Googled on YouTube black kids that have committed suicide and made her sit and watch these videos of these parents talking, you know, about, you know, their kid coming in and seeing their kid there. Girl, I made her write essay about bullying. I made her write an apology letter. And then when we go up there, you know, they just telling me how she has a lot of influence on these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in that leadership role. She plays a lot, and these kids have she got a lot of just influence over these kids where her actual opinions matter to them. You know, and I was trying to explain to her, you know, basically in the meeting, like, if you got that much influence over these kids, baby, why not use it in a positive way? Why is you being so mean? You know what I'm saying? And I guess kids don't realize that just, you know, she was saying that she was playing with the little girl. And I guess it was wrote in the little girl's thing that the little girl said that Jaden said she was playing. But the fact of the matter is, everybody don't play like that. And everybody can't take situations the way you do. So it was like, you know, girls, it took me a lot to get to the point, like, you know, don't go home and whoop the shit out of this baby. Make her realize that.
I'm glad that you did that, because it's really important that you made her read it, watch videos, do an essay, and do an apology letter so she can actually see. Because I pulled this up and it said, like, girls from between the ages of 10 to 14 are more at risk of committing suicide because of bullying.
Yes.
And, and she's in that age range.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm saying, then, like, statistically, 1 in 5 kids report that they've been bullied.
Yep. And it said, it also said about 160,000 kids stay home every day because of the fear of bullying.
And not just wanting to go to school. So even, like, you know, sometimes I think even getting bullied, you know how you don't feel like you can come to your parents and actually probably say, like, I'm being bullied. You may make excuses up about just not going to school or not wanting to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I try to, you know, make her understand, because in your eyesight, you may not think, well, she said something, girl, that was her thing that she just kept on. Well, she was talking about me too. She was talking about my mom, and she was talking about my daddy, and, you know, she was doing this and this and that. And I just know they kept on saying my sister, you know, it's just that she just came back harder. She did. And things that she say, you know, probably hit home. Because, like, you know, we was trying to explain to her, she got the little girl a bum. Girl, but the fact of the matter is, you know, like my cousin was asking her, like, do you know what she's going home to? You know what I'm saying? Maybe she really feels as if she's a bum. And when you said that, it really hit home, like, damn. You know, like, you live a certain way and you think like everybody else may live on some type of certain level, but you don't even know if she going home to get a full, like, a hot cooked meal that night. Like, stop. You can't say anything to these kids. Like, if you don't want to be her friend, my girl, what I told her is, like, just don't be a friend then. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's making y'all be friends, but it doesn't call for you to go say something to this little girl where you feel like, you know, you're going to hurt her to her core.
Right.
And that's what I think, girl, my child will do.
Well, like, see, I was, and it's hard to believe, I got bullied in school. My therapist looked at me when I told her that, and she was like, you were bullied? And I was like, well, yes. But I was smaller than a lot of the girls, and so they always just, I was an easy target. You know, I had a girl once just come up just on random and just hit me in my nose. The blood just running down my shirt. I was like in middle school. I used to have one time that I was told that I fought so hard, but they were planning to drag me to the bathroom to set my hair on fire. And I'm fighting. It's this, like, group of girls, like, dragging me. And I'm fighting. And I guess I put up enough fight that they let me go. But then I later found out that their plan was to drag me to the bathroom and try to burn my hair.
Why?
I don't know. I just was a target. And for a long time, I was a target. And I used to be really, like, not say nothing. I don't like confrontation. I know people think, oh, you're so strong, you're assertive, your voice is strong, you da-da-da-da-da. I used to didn't like that. And I can not relate to the part of like wanting to kill myself because I never ever got to that space. But going to school every single day was hard because it was like, well, damn, they tried to drag me to the bathroom yesterday. And, you know, I had a mom who wasn't really like, who didn't really fight for me, who didn't really defend me, who, like, I would go home. Like, I would get letters in my locker. You know, they called me names. They talked about me. And it wasn't nothing but the grace of God that I never really thought about doing anything to myself. It was just really hard to go to school every day to that, you know?
Exactly.
So
And
how long did it happen? Was it this just one school year?
no,
or you
it
dealt
was
with it for
years.
Oh, that's
I was
wonderful.
like in 5th grade, probably 5th grade when it started. It was probably my sophomore year when it actually, like, people just like backed off. And what ended up happening is I got really, really, like, I started getting angry. Okay. And so when we talk about like my anger issues and things that created anger within me, that had a huge part of why I was really angry and really mad, because like I just never understood it. Like I never really like could understand like why I come to school and just randomly one day y'all want to drag me to the bathroom, or somebody has a problem with me. They want to fight me over this boy who you just saw him talk to me yesterday. We walking down the hall, and so this is a problem. Like it was always something, and for years it was like that. That's you talking 5 years. It was like that, and I remember just thinking like when I got to when I was in 8th grade, I finally started just thinking of ways that I could like defend myself, like so. If I could just do this, or if somebody said something, and that was like you know, I was little, like y'all see Anaya. Anaya's thicker than I am. She is.
Oh wow.
I was small.
Little, yeah.
Like I was olive oils. I was little, and so like especially in middle school, I was real little. I was tall and lanky, and then I had glasses, and then my mama didn't really like keep up with the glass. It was just nerdy.
Do you think the suicide thing now is because kids see it?
I think
Yes.
it's because kids see it. They have more access to it. Because I had thoughts of like hurting other people. Like never said that out loud, but like I used to think about ways to slit a girl's neck. Like, so if somebody tries this or tries that, then I'm just going. I used to think of like if I just put a blade, like I used to look up ways. I mean, and it wasn't a whole lot you could find in that space, but how do I put a blade over here? So if somebody comes up to me and says something to me this time, then I'm just gonna slit a girl's neck. I'm just gonna slit her neck. Like it wasn't me I wasn't gonna hurt myself, but it wasn't out there like that. It wasn't like,
and it's
people
out
weren't
everywhere now.
People weren't committing suicide when I was younger.
But I think it's just the norm, kind of becoming the norm now. And that's what I was reading. It said it's the 3rd leading cause of death amongst young people.
And you never really heard people committing suicide then.
No.
When we were younger.
No.
I mean, but if everything...
But you never seen
right.
kids coming to school shooting up the schools either.
No.
Like, I try to explain to her in that matter, like, even the fact is, if this little girl don't come and, like, she don't hurt herself... because kids got so much access to knives and guns or whatever that looks like, you know what I'm saying, at home now. You know what I'm saying? How do you know that y'all ain't got metal detectors? How do you know this little girl one day, because yesterday, you took her to her limit. You took her to her limit and she tired of your shit. You know, so she decides to put her mama's gun in her backpack, and she comes and she shoots you. That's what I try to explain to her. You don't know, like, what you doing to her on a day-to-day basis. You know, if you constantly messing with this little girl, you know, just saying things you think is playing, and she's not taking it in a playing way, but just to kind of play like the role. And I try to sit back and look, because my husband seemed to think, you know, and he's trying to make it, you know, where he feels bad now because maybe she's just acting out. I'm not there, and she's acting out, and she may be angry. You know what I'm saying? Because she's still, it's new still. So she's kind of getting used to where he's not there, you know, but I try to, explain to him, even if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? She gonna have to do it a different way. Now, she got to take counseling now, which is good. They're going to make her take counseling in school. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Because they have to report it to agencies now.
I didn't know that. That's good.
Yes.
Because of all the suicide and stuff.
Because it's becoming a really big thing now. So, like, when I had to go talk to administrators, they had to report it to agencies or whatever, and then she has to have counseling, like set up counseling, which is great, you know, for her, because I think she needs to do counseling now, because it was a big change. You know what I'm saying? I was never the one to go up to schools. I was never the one that did the field trips. That wasn't me. You know, that was him. You know, he always took her to those places just because of my job. You know, so she made in her mind, you know, she not getting that kiss at night that she got, you know what I'm saying, at night. And he was more of the, you know, not saying I'm not affectionate, you know, because I kiss her, but, you know, he was more of the, he set her on his lap, you know what I'm saying, and he kissed and he held her, and, you know, that was their thing, you know what I'm saying. She may be missing that and may be acting out, but whatever that is, we gonna have to figure it out, like, really quick.
In the butt now.
Yeah.
And for me, I was never really bullied, but like a couple of people did try to test me in school, but I just fought them. And then, you know, when we had a fight, they left me alone.
Well, see, that didn't always help, because I fought so many girls.
See, and that helped for me. It, you know, the couple of people that did it, it helped.
I had fights. I had fights so much through middle school that they knew who I was before I even got to high school, because the principal knew who I was, because my name was just talked about. And I finally got to probably about 10th grade, and I just started cussing people out. So what I learned at that point, which is where everybody sees now, is this assertiveness. Is I learned to be louder and more assertive than the bully. So if we was in class and you said something to me, then I cussed you smooth the fuck out. To the point that it embarrassed you that you even said something to me. So then you wouldn't say nothing else.
So you kind of dealt with them in a different way instead of fighting them.
I fought them. I mean, but it got to a point where they wouldn't even like look my direction, because I was the angry, pissed off. If you say something to her, she gonna cuss you out. Just leave her the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Like, I fought so much. My last fight was a girl who decided, I was a sophomore, maybe. I was a cheerleader at the time. Who just decided the whole school knew I didn't. Showed up to a basketball game and just decided that during halftime, she was going to fight me. I didn't know nothing about it. I had literally just previously seen the girl in the bathroom. Me and her was in the bathroom by herself at school the day, like, before. And during that day, like, you know, she's speaking to me like everything is normal. Everybody in the school knows this is about to happen. And it's halftime. You know, halftime, we go get food, we go get stuff. I'm a cheerleader or whatever. And all of a sudden, this person hop up on the back of me and swings. Out of nowhere. I look around and
at the game,
it's people just surrounded around, because everybody knew. Everybody knew but me. And at that point, I felt betrayed. I felt like, fuck this school, fuck these kids. There is nothing. And had a gun been around at that time, not to say that I was livid.
But see, that's what stuff like that, it pushes kids.
It does.
And it gets you to that point. And you just don't know, like, mentally where a kid is. And thank God that he's always kept me, and he just said, you know what I'm going to do is just, you know, she may be a little angry, but I'm going to make her a little more assertive. So when people, you know, you can't test me now. Like, you don't get that opportunity to test me. Like, you don't get too many times to test me. You test me too much, I'm going to fucking test you back. Because I had to start learning to just be a little bit more aggressive in spaces. And people started taking, you know, and as you get older, you can't necessarily be that person, because it affects your job, it affects how you live, it affects all of that stuff. But it wasn't until I started doing therapy that I started connecting the dots, like, oh, I actually started getting really angry around this time. And she was like, well, I just don't see that in you. I said, because I became really assertive. And so I just started saying what the fuck I wanted. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care how I felt about you. I didn't care nothing. I wasn't loving. I wasn't sweet. I wasn't nice. I wasn't none of that. And I graduated with them set of kids, but they look at me now and be like, well, why don't you hang out with us? Fuck y'all.
Yeah, and I think now, like, kids, they're dealing with more. So not only are they getting bullied at school, but it's cyberbullying. You know, y'all, exactly. You know, they're talking about
because you don't
Facebook
just stop, you know, and thank
Snapchat.
God.
Yeah.
Because I thought about, I've thought about that too. Like,
text
the blessing
messages.
is, I didn't have Facebook.
Right.
I didn't have Twitter.
Exactly.
It wasn't no Instagram. So I could only imagine how much further shit would have gone that just stayed at school.
And then just think, okay, so like even like the fights, people picking on you and say like some of the kids are recorded.
Because I hate
and then
seeing that.
And then they put it online. And then like you embarrassed all over again. And it's like not only are you getting it at school, but now everybody online sees it.
Everybody.
And it pushes you. I think it really pushes those kids to where they don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God back in the day. That's what I'm saying. It's so different now. Because back in the day, and you wouldn't even think like in high school, because I know one of my cousins got bullied all the time. And I was like not, again, I was not like one of those kids to be bullied, because I was probably more of the vocal, like, I wish you would. You know, I was little too though, but I was just one of the ones. But I had a cousin that got bullied all the time. They used to, every single year, I promise you, from middle school till we were seniors in high school, and I'm not playing. They got off at bus stop every year and beat up. Like girls, every single year they used to see it go down the hall and just push her, bam, push her to the ground. Like even in high school, and I thought that was like so. Like, listen, you gonna have to, like, you know. But
because
I always
what you don't understand in that space is, for one, I got to get the bravery to push them back. I have to feel like I can be stronger than that person. And you never know what's going on with that person. And, you know, I wasn't always the most confident kid. Like I said, I didn't have, when my mom and dad got a divorce, our finances dropped significantly. So I became the kid that was flooding. I was the kid that my glasses weren't like they were supposed to be. My mama couldn't afford to get my hair done on a regular basis. Like, so it was already a confidence shift. My family dynamics shift. The fact that my mom was dealing with what she was dealing with, she didn't really deal with us very well in that space. All of that shifted. So you just really never know, like, that home life, what that looks like. So you expected me to come back to school and be pushing people back. Well, I may not even be confident enough that I can push you back.
But you know what it doesn't do? Like, even if you don't push back, maybe even tell somebody, and it's good that, you know what I'm saying, the little girl told somebody. But the fact of the matter is, because it can turn real ugly. Because that's what I'm saying, when my cousin was getting bullied, you know what I'm saying, she didn't have that voice. She never was that one that had that voice. But then she'll come tell us, and it turned ugly because come our senior year, we all out at a store, and we finna go on a senior trip, and they pulls up on, you know, and they, like, literally, they bullying her, like, right there in front of me. Like, we at this store, they, like, it is about 5 or 6 of these girls, like, telling her, like, come on, you know, and they just talking noise. I'm like, just say something to them, you know, that's me. Say something to them, you know, if the girl, so it can be all out in the open and we can get this done with. She never says something, so they comes over to my car, and it's like 5 or 6 girls. I'm in high school, you know, again, I was never the one that I'm going to allow you just to punk me. You know what I'm saying? So they all walking over to my car, and this year was like a horrible year for us with these girls, so I always used to keep scissors in my glove compartment. Girl, I grabs the scissors out. They think they finna open up my car door and they finna hit me. Girl, I end up stabbing one of the girls. End up getting in trouble. Got kicked out of school my senior year. I was expelled. I hadn't got it, but I had been telling my grandma and telling my counselor that these girls had been messing with us like forever. You know what I'm saying? They didn't bully me, but they used to bully her. But it's the fact of the matter, I always let them know, like these people at school and my grandma and them know about these girls. So they kicked me out of school or whatever, but they allowed me to come back like on a zero tolerance thing, and I end up having to go to like anger management classes and, you know, all that. But I end up getting to graduate. But it was just the fact of the matter, like I can't sit here and allow y'all to keep bullying my cousin. I'm not going to get in it, but don't put me in it either. Like, y'all not going to come over and bring the drama to me, which could have got everybody in trouble.
So did they leave her alone after that?
Hell no.
They didn't?
Man. I mean, because we couldn't say nothing to each other at school, period. Like, they put all of us on, like, a zero. I was, like, the only one that got expelled. You know what I'm saying? But they put all of us, like, on a zero tolerance list. You know what I'm saying? So the seniors basically really was, like, on a zero tolerance. You couldn't forget your ID. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to do everything the right way. Like, they had me suspended for a little bit. And I got back, but then they kept messing with me. They didn't mess with her. I think they messed with her, not to the point like they was pushing her down no more and all that kind of stuff. But they started messing with me. You remember they used to hide behind the job? Remember I got jumped at the job? Same girls.
Okay, I didn't know that's who it was.
Same girls. Like, after I came out of work, they jumped me at work. They found me at the mall one time. I was happened to be in the shoe store. They jumped me at the mall.
And this is after you stabbed. Yeah, after you had already graduated.
Girl, so it was like, no. You remember that was my senior year.
No, and
all that. Yeah. That was my senior year. Girl, so...
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yes, girl. So it was just like... So eventually my grandma was like, now this is some bullshit. So we put VPOs on all of them.
I'm saying that sometimes you do have to... Because I've had to get to the point of putting... Like, we had to put a VPO on somebody. Yes. Like, you do get to that point, girl. It was games. I remember going to Sobo. And it would be like, oh, such and such is waiting on you. Waiting on me for what? So then I couldn't move around. So if the band director or somebody found out, then I got stuck sitting in the pews while everybody else could move around. It got to that point that some kids and some people don't know when the fuck to stop. Exactly. And you can say all day, go fight them. Like I said, you know how many fights I had? I was fighting fighting for years, fighting, and that never stopped that person.
I just know it helped me.
You know, so I think that's the thing. Like, we tell our kids, well, fight back and say something back or do this or do that. But sometimes that shit don't help.
It don't.
Sometimes you gotta call the police. Sometimes you gotta file a VPO. Sometimes some people's kids is ignorant as fuck, and they never catch it. And so I think when it comes to that space, like, we need to be a voice for our, we need to be able to listen to our kids. When your kid come home and tell you somebody bullying them, that go back and fight them shit, I think that only lasts for so long.
Exactly.
You know, I think there got to be more to the go back and fight. Because if I'm fighting, because the other part about it is, what happens when they mama and daddy just as ignorant as they kids?
That's true.
Yeah, and that happens.
Yeah.
So the kids bullying because they getting bullied at home, or they just ignorant. So you trying to sit down and have a conversation at the school about what's going on, and you can't even address what's going on because you can't even have a decent conversation with the adults in the situation.
And that's the only reason I think I didn't whoop her that night, because I'm like, how can I go and say, hey, don't be doing this, and then I'm still coming back with it with some type of act of, violence. I'm like, I got to go about this a different way. And maybe she'll take it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you need to watch this. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't hit home until you actually see. Like, I couldn't imagine somebody, I told her, bullying you, and you coming home, and all of a sudden I go up, you know what I'm saying, I go in your room and you hanging from your closet. You got to realize, you got to think what these parents would have to go through, what this kid would have, you know what I'm saying? You got to kind of, so I had to try to finagle it a different way with her.
But the other part about it is, we want to be like, you being a punk, or you being, you letting them bully you, or you letting them da-da-da-da, but the fact that we're not there. And I think a lot of times, I'm going to be honest with you, the schools aren't really stepping in the way that they need to be stepping in on some situations.
No.
Recent situation up at KIP, with Crystal and her baby. The girls is going back and forth, so they see it as equal combat because the girls are going back and forth, but the girls that are coming back at her is spraying stuff on her and they spitting on her and some stuff. It's one thing to be exchanging words.
Yes.
It's another thing when you coming from home with aerosol and you spitting on kids.
And that's the thing schools got to realize, because my baby said that she had already told the teacher the week before what she did. Say that her and the little girl told her to come to the playground and she was going to beat up, So it was kind of where she was coming back, but again, she came back harder. But the fact of the matter is, when they was having words with each other and y'all already knew this, this is the second week going into it, y'all didn't think at this point y'all should have called both of the parents and was like, let's have a conference where we could have smashed this from the beginning. Like, stop waiting because y'all think that this is just what little kids do.
Right.
Like, that makes no sense to me.
Right.
That's just, I don't care if it's just what y'all think, that's just what, and y'all thinking, hey, y'all just need to, y'all was friends, I don't know what's going on, but y'all need to figure this out. It didn't got to the point, evidently, where they can't figure it out, so y'all need to pull a parent in, and until it get to the point where now, y'all done suspended my baby from school, and now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
When y'all should have handled it last week.
Right. Or the conversations I've heard now is every kid needs to be bullied. No.
Hell no.
I haven't heard that. That's
you
crazy.
haven't, like, people be like, oh, people taking bullying too. Everybody's been bullied. Every kid's been bullied. You don't think
to a certain degree,
they
say that, but,
yeah, you think
that may
but
be
the
true.
thing is, and I don't think that every kid needs to be bullied. The
I'm
problem
not saying
is,
need to. I'm just saying have.
I think that a lot of kids get bullied, and we all deal with things different. But we can't expect every kid to be able to deal with your home life that might be going in a crisis, your school life that's going in crisis, and then you ain't got no friends sitting at school, because that's the other part. You do realize that some kids, they will isolate the shit out of them.
They do.
They you sitting over there eating, they come and they bumping your shoulder. It's all day long. And some people, if I could only imagine if I went to work, and I'm an adult, and I went to work, and every day I got to work, with the moment I stepped into the door, from the time I left out that door, they was talking crap, bumping into me, spitting in my food, dumping over my food tray, stepping on my shoes, writing on my shit, leaving nasty notes. Hell, I quit. And I don't care if I had something to go back to when I did it. I would quit.
Yeah, so I think they just need to handle it. Step in a little bit more quicker, the school systems, than they have been.
or than they do.
Yeah.
Because I think that what the thing is that when we want kids to be able to deal in these situations and be able to be okay in them, and it's just fine, we don't have no problems. But then, like, what happens when it does escalate all the way to a kid bringing a gun to school?
Exactly.
Well, when I was up at the school last week, I was talking to the principal, and he was saying that next school year they're really going to focus on bullying. And you have a zero tolerance policy, is what they said. I don't know what they're going to do or implement or whatever.
But the other issue with zero tolerance policies is the school doesn't recognize the bully versus the person that's retaliating because they've been bullied.
Exactly.
So then what happens when your kid been getting bullied? The bully goes home, and they ain't got a mama like Mica. And your kid goes home too, because you didn't punish my kid as well. And then we come back, we haven't resolved anything. Because now you're saying that you just as wrong for standing up for yourself as they were for saying something to you.
And they both get suspended.
Yeah,
and they both get suspended.
And they always want to say, well, tell the teacher what they do tell the teacher.
Right.
Exactly.
And when they
done told you 10 times.
Right.
And I didn't even talk to you about it, but then y'all you suspend both of them. I don't agree with that policy.
I don't
when
either.
they say that.
When I come in and said on so many occasions, y'all need to deal with this, y'all need to deal with this, y'all need to deal with this, and then my kid does what my kid can do.
All of a sudden they tripped them, and then they got up and hit them, found them back, and now they both suspended. I don't agree with that.
Well, I think it need to be more parents like you. You know, when the school call the parent, let them know that your kid is bullying and, you know, do things like that. But I think so often the parent want to blame the school. Oh, my kid didn't do this, or my kid ain't like that. They always want to defend their kid. And you know your kid.
Exactly.
You know your kid is a bully.
But if you ain't a parent that's actively involved in the education process, and you're not actively involved in what's going on with your kid anyway, or your kid just go home and they don't say nothing anyway.
But some parents are so quick to jump on the teachers versus jumping on the kids.
A lot of parents are.
Yeah, they're
they not open minded to hear nothing. About their kid. My kid don't do that. Girl, please. You know your kid act a certain way when they with you already anyway. You know good and well they going back to school acting 10 times worse.
Right.
Like, no. And I'm like, you know, she probably got in there and they probably hadn't seen that kid ever because they like, oh, she vocal. And every time I say something, I say, huh? Yes, ma'am. Girl, I was girl, she had me so hot in there. I was like, oh, girl, they making me, I don't even know the kid they talking about. Now, I know you a little aggressive and a little bossy, but what kid is they talking about? Like, are you serious? No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Girl, get it together.
Yeah. But it's that empathy, compassion portion of things that kids are starting to lack.
Yeah.
That a lot of our kids don't have. And I don't know, like, how to give it to them. Because I've always said you can teach a person time management. You can't really teach a person how to be compassionate. They either got it or they don't.
Ask our friend, she know.
I have compassion.
No, friend.
I do. Maybe not a lot, but I have some.
You can't teach nobody that, can you, Dante?
You cannot teach it.
You're right.
Right. So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think we do definitely need to start. We call schools bad schools, but we expect teachers to parent, and we can't have them. They can't parent each and every one of the kids in the school.
No,
because they don't.
You can't expect them
right, and you can't expect them to.
It's really a partnership,
right? And it has to be a partnership. You have to be able, and you can't go in every day saying, "No, my kid, I'm doing that."
Yes,
because I'm sure your kid is.
Exactly.
But even if they aren't, then have that open dialogue back and forth and don't blame the teacher. Because the teacher dealing with your kid, that's the other part. It's just like, we work 8 hours after the day, so we spend more time at our jobs than we do at home. The teachers are spending more time with your kids during the week than you are with your own kids.
Exactly.
That's why parents need to give them more respect instead of cussing them out. Every time your kid do something, you want to go cuss the teacher out.
So... But anyway, it's been a good conversation.
It has.
Y'all got anything else for us?
I don't know anything.
Okay.
Just appreciate everybody.
The support. I just want to give a shout out to all the men that listen to us on a regular basis.
That's true. Because we've actually had several different men actually inbox each one of us or reach out to us in some type of way. About the podcast. So I really appreciate that. We might get more support from our men than we do from our women.
It's seeming like it. I know this week I've had, some mails like, how do I get to it? And they've listened like it's bomb and, just different stuff. So they're enjoying it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think sometimes y'all go, we see you. You know, I just want y'all to know we see you. We appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, the text messages, the messages in our inboxes. We appreciate that. We talk back and forth to each other all the time about it. Thanks for being there. The encouragement.
Because if it ain't, I think the men have actually gave us more encouragement than, not saying it like, you know, but than the women. Because
they have.
But they have to be honest.
They have.
Let's be real.
Let's keep it real. Like, the men is the ones that's, when we talk about somebody supporting some dreams, they the main ones that's like, y'all can do this.
Yeah.
Don't give up. So
Right.
there's been them men out there that's really been pushing us.
They'd be like, keep going, you know.
You see the vision. Like,
Right.
like, and, you know,
This is
y'all
gonna
blow
be
up.
big.
Yeah,
Y'all gonna blow up.
say
You
stuff
know,
like
yeah,
that.
they say a
Yeah.
lot of, you know, this is gonna be a successful venture. And I just think it's because men do a lot of dreaming. And so when they see you building on something that not necessarily other people can see, they understand the importance of being able to give you that encouragement that pushes you and keeps you going.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. SeattleHipHopRadio.com. I'm going to say something to that one. Thank you for seeing our vision and seeing our dream and listening to us and seeing us as being valuable enough to put us on your platform.
We do. Thank you. We appreciate it so much.
I mean, a lot of people have stopped and been like, so how did that happen? I mean, and it's just somebody else who listened to us and said, they're valuable. I like them, and I want to utilize them on my platform. And he didn't have to do that. He don't know us from a can of paint. I don't know why.
Exactly.
Like, he don't know us from
We're
nothing.
going to make a trip, though. We're going to make a trip to meet him. We are. Tony, we are going to make a trip to come meet you personally. Yes. Because we really appreciate everything.
Yes. So every week he makes sure that, you know, he tags us in our statistics. He continues to keep letting us know what's going on. He plays our stuff on his station every week, every Monday, every Friday, you know. And like I said, that's invaluable because that's exposure that we get every week that we didn't do anything special except for be ourselves. And so thank you, Tony, for that. We appreciate you. Thank you. Like we said, we're on Seattle Hip Hop Radio every Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Tune in to Seattle Hip Hop Radio. Seattle Hip Hop Radio is actually like a Pandora.
Exactly, because it's 24 hours.
It is 24 hours. You get hip hop, you get us, you get hip hop music, you get other up and coming artists. You also get other platforms like so. There's other like radio shows and other like podcasts. We're the first all female podcast on it, but I think there's a set of guys that are on there as well. So just support it. We always say we want something of our own. And then when someone gives us something of our own, then we fail to support it. So It can't stay and it can't sustain and it can't keep going. So I say listen to it. Download the app, you know, and listen to it from time to time. You know, it's like Pandora, so it's 24 hours, 24/7. You can listen to it all day. Or you can listen to it while you working. You can listen to it while you're working out. Exactly. On the way home, on the way to school, whatever, you know. So go ahead and do that. You can download the app on Android and all iPhones, iPads, tablets, because I have it on the iPad and my phone. Also we are on SoundCloud and YouTube. We are on SoundCloud and YouTube 7 days a week. Somebody wanted me to correct that. I said every Sunday, but a new episode posted every Sunday to SoundCloud and YouTube. But you guys, if you missed something, you want to go back, you can always go back and re-listen. If you listen in at time, and because I know Seattle Hip Hop Radio is live, so you can't rewind that. But if you're listening on Seattle Hip Hop Radio and you catch it like in the middle of something and you want to go back and listen, we're on both SoundCloud and YouTube, so you can go back and listen from the beginning all the way through. We are on all platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On Facebook and Instagram, it is MochaTea Podcast. On Instagram, it is MochaTea_podcast. And then for any inquiries, like I said, we've actually taken a lot of inquiries via text message, via our social media platforms. We've had people post things on the social media pages. So if you have anything, or if you just want to write out a long story to us,
okay,
MochaTea, the number 2018@gmail.com. If you have something that happened in your life and you don't want to post it on any of the social media platforms and it's too long of a text to send, go ahead and send us via email and we'll get that as well. But we appreciate the support. Like I said, thank you to everybody who sees the vision, who sees the dream, who continues to push us and continues to encourage us. We appreciate that. And we are out.
Peace.